Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Gita.
Hare Krishna. So now we'll have a first Sankirtan meeting. We will have just Satyananda Prabhu moderating, and I think we expect also Manida Prabhu to join us. And who else is going to join us as well? Manida Prabhu as well. Tapas Prabhu. Tapas Prabhu. So a few more senior devotees will join us, but just Satyananda Prabhu will moderate, and we already have His Grace Anakadandvi Prabhu. Haribo, and His Grace Parivida Prabhu here. Haribo. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll hand over to Jai Satyanandan Prabhu. I think, you can decide. We don't have to make it too stiff. We can focus on the main devotees, and if somebody has an additional suggestion, I think we can always. Probably he'll join in.
Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna devotees. This is a very nice. I would also like to add. If Nila Madhava Prabhu would like to also say something. Nila Madhava Prabhu is a great Sankirtan devotee. When I joined, I was reading his magazine. What is it? Sankirtan? What's the magazine?
Book distribution is the solution.
He printed a magazine called Book Distribution is the Solution. And then when I was a young Sankirtan devotee, I was reading this with great enthusiasm for. Thank you, Nila Madhava Prabhu. So maybe he can also if you like to say a few words. So maybe we can start now. Parivida Prabhu is a most senior devotee here. If you'd like to share, we can maybe add, or we can. I think if you don't mind, as the speakers, that the audience can maybe just ask if there's something they come up during the speech. Then you can just more like interactive ask or something like this as an inspiration, more like faster flowing.
So maybe the instruments can be put away and you can move forward.
Yes, very good.
No one will sit in the front.
Very good.
So each guy has to go.
So I hope you don't mind. I'm sitting on a higher seat than you. Please forgive me. It's better Sarah's.
Even more.
Is this been recorded?
See, no one will sit on that seat. Put it there and move forward. Yeah, that's its community. So, I'm here with the top distributor once in the world, and I was number 1, 2 with 4 or 5 zeros behind it. So I didn't do much Sankirtan, so my stories will be short. And like I've been hearing from many devotees who are going on Sankirtan, is it not close? Yeah. So anyone who goes on Sankirtan, you have sometimes days that you I can't take it anymore. And sometimes there are days that you're floating, it's on cloud 9, and you're so blissful, and everyone, your throat stinks. And all these things happen. But Krishna, first of all, when you go on Sankirtan, it's mainly for your own purification, to become detached and to become humble. Because it's painful if someone ignores you, or if someone is, that was a joke, like that. At least nowadays, you don't get arrested. When I used to go out, devotees were arrested. I myself have been in prison in Luxembourg. And even when we used to go on Harinam, we got arrested sometimes, like that. So certain countries, you are able to distribute just like that, and to go on Harinam. In other places, you have to ask permission. And in other places, you're not allowed to. I was just in Dubai, and there you cannot even go like this on the street. It's not allowed. So my Sankirtan stories, which are just a few, I just remember two particular stories. So one time I had a rough day in a city, and around 5 or 6 o'clock I start walking out the city towards a road where big houses. So in order to how I say that, to enthuse myself, I was chanting Govinda prayers. Govinda, Hari Buddha shall ring a bell. And then after a few houses, someone opened, and I was talking, giving my talk, and whatever I said, this man said, "Oh, we were just talking about that." And so then I was mentioning the Gita, and oh, yes, we were just talking about that. Then he invited me in. And so I was singing in between the Govinda prayers, and when I went in the room, they had a record on with Govinda on Adi Purusha, which was like, wow. And the man was also, I don't know, Paragnost, a seer. Is that a German word? You understand it? Someone, like if someone is missing, then the police go sometimes to a person and they say, well, it's near the water, the body. You understand? A person like that. Anyway, so and he bought the Bhagavad Gita, so I remember that story. Another story I remembered, I was with two Sankirtan devotees, and one of us very I was shy to just go somewhere where you're not allowed to go in. So one time, it was in Holland there, it was a place for old people, but they are vegetarians. This is just an old folk home for vegetarians. So we thought, that would be a good place for Sankirtan. And so we went through the front door, but the lady behind the desk didn't allow us to do. So my Sankirtan leader, we just went behind the building and sneaked inside. So the first door I knocked, because I was very young at that time in Sankirtan, and I didn't know much of the philosophy. And so two ladies, they opened, and they had studied Vedanta, and so I didn't know what Vedanta was. So I couldn't convince them Bhagavad Gita, no, I will study Vedanta, so I couldn't defeat their arguments. So the second room I opened was an elderly lady. She opened, and she was very interested in the Gita. I showed her the Gita. And she said, oh, wonderful, yes, I really wanted. But then there was, in the back, I saw her husband. He was lying in a bed with his leg up. He had broken his leg. And he said, no, we can't afford it. And she went, oh. And then he said, you know what? I shall give it to you for your birthday. And then she said, oh, this is the most beautiful birthday present you ever gave me. And then I cried. So that's my only stories. I don't have further stories, but he has many stories. Oh yeah, I want to tell another story. So when I was in Calcutta a few years ago, a devotee approached me and he said, I had a dream of Prabhupada. I said, I want to tell you something. I said, okay. My spiritual master, Jayapataka Maharaj, he requested me, or actually he sent me to England, to the north of England, to do Sankirtan. So he went there to do Sankirtan, but he just wasn't able to do any books, maybe 2 or 3 books a day. And he was like really depressed, because he wanted, just to go out for 2, 3 books. You don't feel really satisfied, especially if other devotees have 50 or 60 books. So then he was praying to Srila Prabhupada's Murti, like this, so like that. So that night he had let me see, it was the day after the Singadev Chaturdashi, the night. Then he had a dream. So the Murti of Srila Prabhupada spoke to him. He said, my clothes haven't been changed for 21 days. If you take care of me, I'll take care of you. So this devotee brahmachari went to the head puchari and he said, Prabhu, how are you? I said, oh, I'm so busy. I haven't even dressed Srila Prabhupada for 21 days. And he said, oh, shall I do it? He says, oh, yes, yes, yes. Don't tell the temple president. So he started to address Srila Prabhupada. And then from that day on, he did about 50 or 60 books. It's a true story. So anything can happen, you know. Krishna's in the heart. But mainly, you know, if you don't do well, then it's mainly because you're attached, or you're not in the right state of mind, consciousness. There's a story of who's now the president in Radhadesh, Ekachakra Gram Prabhu. He was one time on Sankirtan, and he was showing the book, and this person was saying, wow, you know, you have all these qualities, wherever you're talking about, you have all these qualities described in the book, very wonderful. So he became a little like this, you know, if someone praises you. And then a little later, someone else came up, and he said, you know, whatever you're talking about, I don't see that in you. Exactly the opposite. You know, so like pride, you know, like something say, oh, I'm doing very, very well, you know. So sometimes I go in Harinam, and then I think by myself, oh, I sing so nicely. And then I go, then there's a frog in my throat, you know. And I think, oh, Krishna, sorry. So it's like that. Krishna, you know, he's just testing you. And to become detached, I wrote a song about it, which if you are still here on the 1st of January, then I made a video about the struggles on Sankirtan and where a Sankirtan devotee has to deal with. So this is more or less my, because I've been only maybe not even 2 years or even less than that on Sankirtan, because I was mainly a temple devotee. I was a temple commander and a head pujari, and only for a short while I was on Sankirtan, where I had a fight with my temple president. Then he put me on traveling Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, thank you. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. So, Anakadundubi Prabhu, I don't know the details about his devotional service life, but he's a very famous Sankirtan devotee. Also, when I joined, he was a known Sankirtan devotee. These were the few in Europe, and Anakadundubi was the leader for the Italian Sankirtan, or maybe European also, and you wrote a book, Sankirtan. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about the book?
Okay.
And he married also a great Sankirtan devotee, so this is a Sankirtan family. They're currently living in Mayapur Dham. Mayapur Dham ki jai.
Homa Yajna Timiranda Syagananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Panchakalpatarubhyas Chakirpashindubhyeva Chapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Mama Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthayapatale Shrimati Bhakti Charu Swamyati Namina Sindachena Shupranitame Chajapatam Prabhupada Pramanohi Bhacharupadam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthayapatale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Shunyavari Pachajastarime. Hare Krishna. First of all, I want to thank the devotees from Simachalam to invited me here. Right now, I'm based in Sridham Mayapur with my good wife since 1 year, and of course, you know, I'm in the holy place, but we both miss, me and my wife, Sankirtan. Actually, we are, especially my wife, she's dreaming about going book distribution practically every night. So she wakes up very tired, you know, and like that, you know, because anyway, I just want to tell you something about Anakadundu Das, just for the new devotees that don't know background. I started Sankirtan not long ago, and but by the mercy of Krishna, I got the good fortune to do this service, book distribution. I just want to tell you the beginning. In the book that I wrote, actually, you know, if you don't have this book, please take it. The Lakshmi from the selling of this book will go to Simachalam that spend a lot of money for my ticket. So please do it. And if you want, I can sign it. You know, it's not a big deal, but At the beginning, in the book, it is written that I was, the first book I read was very nice temples. They don't sell coffee, but you know they have other things to that people are very eager to get. So I went there, and by my good fortune, I had one of Srila Prabhupada's books that was donated to me by some devotees. Some my well-wishers, my Vartmar Pradashika Guru, they were preaching to me for the first time about Krishna conscious. I was vegetarian, so-called vegetarian. I was not very strict, but I was vegetarian since 1 year. So I went there, and in all these temples, I didn't find what I was looking for. I was not happy at all. So I was very frustrated after 10 days of staying in Amsterdam. I was in Vondelpark. Is that correct? The Vondelpark is Vondelpark, yeah. It's a very nice park, and so I was there, you know, frustrated, and I happened to remember that I had this book. So I took it out, and it was Science of Self-Realization. And in my mind, I had so many questions that were unanswered. Why we are here, why we suffer, especially when my father passed away. I happened to be present when my father passed away. So since that moment, I became, you know, very concerned about, you know, what's the purpose of life, you know, why we are here, whatever. Anyway, all these things. Why somebody's rich, somebody's poor, somebody's ugly, somebody's not. Anyway, all these questions. And when I start to read, you know, I was amazed because, you know, Srila Prabhupada was answering all my questions inside my head, one after another, like he knew myself very well. So I was really interested in what he was saying to me. But then I thought, oh, maybe he's another of the main cheaters that I met during my life, you know. He wants to take something from me. He shows a very nice face, and then he wants to take something from me. So at the end, there was his biography. So I read the biography of Srila Prabhupada, and I find out, wow, this person just came here, and he went through so many difficulties just to help me, just out of love. So at least I have to follow what he's suggesting me to do. And I was so much enthusiastic that on the way back, I went back by train, and I was preaching to the people in the train. But unfortunately, I still had the bad habit to smoke. So I was preaching Krishna consciousness and smoking. And the people who were listening, I said, well, it doesn't make any sense, you know. You are preaching something and you're doing something else. I said, yeah, I'm just at the beginning, you know. You have to be patient, you know. Anyway, so this is the beginning of my Krishna conscious. And then when I went home, I started to offer the food. I become more strictly vegetarian, and offer the food to the Lord and chant 16 rounds, and then so on. So in my experience, Sankirtan is very difficult to understand because it is an eternal lila of the Lord. So it's not that easy. It's not that cheap to understand. And in order to understand how Sankirtan works, then you have to be really surrendered, because, you know, the doer, we are not the doer is Krishna. And I have a very nice little story about this, you know. There is a Sankirtan devotee from Bosnia. I don't remember his name. Nitai Doya, yeah, him. He's a very nice devotee, a little Avaduta-like sometimes, but he is a very nice devotee. So one time, he was telling the other devotees, oh, everybody is saying that Krishna is distributing the books, and we just happen to be there. Now I want to see if this is true. If Krishna is distributing, or if I am distributing the books. It looked like a challenge, you know, to Krishna. So he went out, and there was a promenade. You know, the people were taking a walk on a pathway just beside the river, and there was a little wall. And he put some books, some Srila Prabhupada books on the wall, and he went some distance. You know, nobody could match that the books were his books. And the books were there, and the people started to look at the book, and some of them stopped and took the book and looked around and opened the book. And all of the people that took the books, actually, they were interested. They went to him and gave him the money. So then at the end of the day, he said, you know, okay, now it's proved. Krishna is distributing, you know, we are not the doer. So anyway, it's just a little story. And besides the stories, I just want to know if any one of you have some question about, you know, your experience in Sankirtan, if you want to know something in particular about book distribution. Otherwise, I can continue to tell other stories if you want to, of course.
Maybe you can explain how would you stop someone on the street?
This I cannot do because this is not my, I mean, I have the, maybe some of you already had this. This is the vademecum for, you know, how to do the mantra, this and that. And here I have also inside all the details about door-to-door, shops, big industries, small industries like that. And we did this together with Navinani Reda Prabhu. And because I don't have experience on the street, he was supposed to write, you know, what you have to do on the street. I just know roughly, and I can share you a very interesting story about it. But, you know, for the details, you have to ask someone who is doing this mainly, you know. Mainly, I was doing door-to-door shops, offices, like that. And sometimes the street. Actually, I was distributing mainly in the expositions. Only once, actually. Maybe a couple of times. And I have experience about that, which was a very nice experience. I learned a lot from this experience. So anyway, this one, you can make copies of this and distribute to everyone who has it. And this is the structure of the mantra. It's very interesting because everything is here, you know, in a very, very nice way. I mean, it was done in a way that, you know, you can remember, you know, all the things. It is natural, you know. Srila Marindar Prabhu used to say that all the Sankirtan devotees download from the same source. So once you are on the street, you know, you have the same, more or less the same realizations. It depends actually on the motivation you have in order to have realizations. If you have the same motivation of another devotee, then you will have the same realizations and so on. So any questions?
Hare Krishna. I think it's especially interesting for German devotees, maybe also the Czech devotees, because we distribute a lot, basically only on the street. Mm-hmm. I remember one time we had the idea to go door to door, but then we dismissed it and went back to the street. So actually maybe it's a big untapped field to go to offices, to go to shops like that.
Okay, I can tell you the story that, I mean, the experience that I had in this exposition. It was at the beginning of my Sankirtan career, and I wasn't very experienced, and I read actually one thing that you must read is the Sankirtan Bible, which is the Nectar of Sankirtan. Is that correct? The
Nectar book distribution.
Nectar book distribution. Okay, this is the Bible for the Sankirtan devotees. Everything is there. You just read that, and you have all the answers. And so I read that, and it happened that we had to distribute. I usually go to door, like I told you again before, but then I had to distribute in an exposition. We had a stand as Hare Krishna, and it was like exposition that was about natural food, something like that. So we fit into it. We knew organizer. So we had a stand, and we had the books. We had some prasadam, and some incenses. Not so many things, but it was very nice. Mainly there were books. And there was a Sankirtan devotee, lady Sankirtan devotee. She was the queen of the expositions of the fair. She was so good, so good. I mean, she was number one in Italy for many, many, many years. And her style of book distribution was amazing. Her voice was like a flute. The people were just, mesmerized by her words. And her strong desire to distribute books was so great that, she had really great results. And that was my first experience in this exposition. So I was just looking at her, try to understand something. And but everybody was just going to her, and she was distributing like anything, and I wasn't able to stop the people. I wasn't able. So I was so frustrated inside. So a devotee, the temple president from Prabhupada Desh, Guru Charan Prabhu, a great Sankirtan devotee also, and a great devotee as well, he understood my mind, and he came to me and said, he took the books away from my hands and gave me some cookies to distribute freely. He said, just give out the mercy. So I started to distribute the cookies, and I calmed down a little bit, but I was in so much fire for the competition, oh my God. I was really, the competition was, really boiling my blood. And so, what should I do? What should I do? So then I remembered that I read about, the advices of His Holiness, His Grace Harinamananda Prabhu. He said, if you are going on the street, be sure not to be seen in a distance, because if they see you from long distance, then the people they think how to say no to you, how to get the right excuse. So you have to surprise them. And the Mataji was right after our stand. So the people were looking at the stand, and then she was. So it was the perfect spot. So I couldn't go there, of course. But on the other side, our stand was there. On the other side, there was nothing, and there was a blind corner. And so I thought, okay, I have to follow, the footsteps of the acharyas. So I took a lot of books and put it in the blind corner, so nobody could see it. And I was standing behind this corner, like this. I was here. And the people were not looking on this side. They were looking on the other side, because there was nothing here. The stands were on the other side. And when they approached, I just went out with a lot of books, really a lot, like Harinamananda and Navina Nirada used to have. And I said, and that was the last day of the exposition. And everybody knows that you have to ask a question, and the answer should be a yes, right? But I did the opposite. I said, you didn't have it yet with all these books. And they turned around and they saw me with all these books, and they say, no, well, this is the last day of the exposition, so you should have them. And I hand 4 books to each of the people that I stopped. And they were looking at and when they had the books in their hand, I explained, this is the art of never getting angry, mantra, and depends if they're elderly person, I says one thing, if there are young people, yoga and meditation, something like that. And the books start to fly out. And actually, nobody went to the lady anymore, because I was before. So everybody was there, And in an exposition, when there is a gathering of people, some other people are coming. And when other people came, I gave other books, this is the last day, and I was doing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mantras at a time, to different people. And in no time, and I didn't ask money. I said, you can give donation. We are missionaries. We just have to have enough money to print more books. We are spending like this for each book. You just give whatever you want. And the people were some way or other reciprocating. And Krishna allowed me to distribute really a lot of books, and I beat the lady. I was the first, and that was very nice. But I didn't tell you the story because I was number one in that time. Because I followed the Acharya. What Harinam said, that he was very expert in that, of course. And I followed, and I had faith. And, of course, there was the mercy of Krishna. That was the main thing, of course. And it worked. So read this book, The Nectar of Book Distribution, and just get inspiration from these advices from expert book distributors. Is that okay so far? Anyway, you have to ask an expert. I'm not an expert. This was just I'm just telling what I read. And Navina Neruda, once he came to Italy, and he said that in Italy the street is not the best for book distribution. Better going door to door. What is the difference? Actually, when you are going in the street, the people are not in their comfort zone. So it's more difficult in this way, because they tend to be uneasy, But if you go to their office or to their houses, they are in their comfort zone. So they are more relaxed. So it's more easy to get into the interaction with them. That I understood that is kind of true.
Well, they can't walk away. They can just close the door.
Yeah, but they feel more comfortable because they are in their environment. So it's. You're going to them. Yeah, we are going to them. So they feel that they are in control.
So in Italy, all the book distributors go door to door mainly, or?
No, actually, nobody goes door to door right now. Nobody. I was one of maybe the only one. And the devotee, they don't like to go door to door. You have to be very patient because sometimes people are not there. And you don't know who is opening, You have to improvise, And anyway, right now in Italy, they are doing mainly expositions, street, shops, offices, and public offices as well. Public offices, they are very good because you can do many, many, many mantras. Public offices is like government offices like that, And it's very difficult to go in. I can share you a very nice story about that. That is not in the book. One time I was in Marathon, and it was raining like anything. Really, it was pouring. And the town I was in was very small. And the only place where I could go was there were porches, so I was protected from the rain. But there were only 2 huge government offices with many, many people inside. But in these offices was forbidden to go inside if you're not an employer or a customer, public, let's say. So I went to the first one, and there was a guard, and I said, "Who are you?" Yes, I'm a monk, and I'm supposed to distribute these books. And he said, "You have to go to the director on the last floor and ask him." So I went, and the director was not there, but the secretary, she was very nice and said, "Okay, we never did something like this, but today I will give you the permission." So she took my ID card, she made a copy, and on a slip of paper with a copy of my ID card, she wrote, Mr. Such and Such, he's a missionary and he has the permission to distribute this literature for today. And she put the date and the stamp and the signature. And then she said, "Be polite and don't disturb. And we are working." I said, "No, don't. Mataji, I know what I'm doing. I know if somebody is busy, I will not bother." So I went, and it was really good because nobody went there. So everybody was, in these offices, they are kind of bored, they are always doing the same thing over and over again. So when there is something new, they are, what is this, So they are very curious. So really a lot of books went out. And then I went on the top floor and thanked the secretary. But I kept this permission in my pocket. I didn't give it back. I was supposed to give it back, but I didn't, and they forgot about it. So I went out, and then I went in the second one, which was even bigger. But that one, in my experience, in all the town I went, no way to get in. It was forbidden because there were some secrets, some confidential papers, that, I was not supposed to see. So I went there, and nobody was in, the guard was not there. So I just went in. I just looked on the sign, and the director was on the last floor, so I skipped the last floor, and I start for the first floor. And the people, when they saw me, they said, "Who are you? Do we have the permission?" I said, "Of course, if I cannot distribute if I don't have the permission." I take out the slip of paper of the other office. I said, "Here." And they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can go. So I did that, and everything was far out, Krishna really helped me. So if you happen to have this government office, go for them. It's a little bit difficult because sometimes you have to deal with many people at once. Some they have open space, but sometimes it's just bliss. Another time I was with my partner, and we went. Actually, the day was not good. We started. We were supposed to go in one town, but in one town there was some happening. There was no parking. A lot of people. Everything was so crowded that it was not fit for Sankirtan. So we had to go back, and it was the third week of marathon, and we were exhausted, and we just drove 1 hour, and we had to come back, and our agenda was 12 hours a day, no stop for 1 month, 31 days. So we were very tired also physically. And we happened on the way back to see this big building with this, it was a government office. And so we went in, and very, very quickly, because we lost a lot of time, so we went in, and everything was strange, There was a stair, and I was going up the stairs, and down there were many doors, and all the doors down, they were locked. And I went up, and all the doors were locked also. So I told my partner, everything is closed also here. Is this a joke? No, it's not a joke. But we start to laugh like anything. Where you laugh hysterically, up to tears. We were laughing like anything. I don't know why, but anyway, we found that happening very funny. Then we found out that, we have to go on the other building. And so we went in the other building, and we composed ourselves because it was very difficult. Everybody was, anyway, you know how it happens, anyway. So we went on the other building, and there was an open space, and I start to introduce ourselves, and then I look to my partner, and we start to read again, to laugh again. Laugh like anything. And all the people froze, and they were looking at us, And we were laughing like anything. And then it happened that Krishna gave me intelligence to tell a joke about the situation. And everybody, like 50 or 60 people, start to laugh all together. And my partner, we were a very, very nice team. He understood, and when everybody was laughing, there was a big desk, very, very big, full of papers. He just cleaned up all the papers in one corner, everything in one paper, and put all the books on the desk and said, "Come on, it's a very special day today. Come and take the books." And everybody came, and we did huge, one full trolley, 140 kilos of trolley, all Mahabiks, everything went out in about 25, 30 minutes. So, wow, we were so enthusiastic. So we went out without books, and in the parking lot, my partner, Guru Krishna Prabhu, that the next story is about him. This is an incredible story. He saw a person in the parking lot and said, "Look, today is a very, very special day, so you must have them." We had no books. He said, "What?" I said, "Come." And we took him to the car, and he showed the Srimad-Bhagavatam set. And his presentation is, these are the stories of the great saintly kings. So, he got in love with Srimad-Bhagavatam, and he took the whole set. So that was the starting. It was about 8:30 in the morning, so you can understand how was that day. Jai, Shri Shingadeva Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. So just to tell who Guru Krishna Prabhu is, I will tell a story. So first I have to say something. It came to my mind because, the competition sometimes is not helping book distribution. Sometimes it is helping, like Srila Prabhupada was emphasizing that, but competition must be spiritual, not material. And I will tell also a short anecdote from my first Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Somaka Maharaj, that unfortunately passed away many, many years ago. He gave a lecture during a marathon in 1984, and he was saying, okay, in the spiritual world and in material world, they are happening more or less the same thing. But the difference is the mood. In the material world, there is a bicycle racing, okay? And at the final rush, everybody is trying to obstaculate, to do something to stop the others. They're maybe going like this, or they are elbowing, or they are kicking like that. Because everyone wants to be first, right? And in the spiritual world, there is also a bicycle race, and everybody wants to become first, but everyone is pushing the others. Understand? So, in the spiritual world, everyone is trying to facilitate the other devotee to give a better service to Krishna, but each one of them is also wants to give the best. So is a race of helping each other. So this is the difference. So I was thinking, how to do this practically. So me and Guru Krishna, we were very, very good friends. We were brahmachari at the time, and we did everything together, more or less. We went to India together, and we were going in Sankirtan together. So I told him, why don't we do one thing? And I called it the synergy. We go out together, but not together. That's it. In that story that I told before, we were together because we were going on the spot and then split. But it happened to be like I told, so we were together. But usually, I told him, we have to go in one spot, and then one goes right, one goes left, and whatever we distribute, we put together and we split 50-50. And he agreed. So what happened? That each one of us wanted to do the maximum in order to help the other. So that was the synergy, and it worked. Because, when we started this kind of book distribution, the results were amazing, amazing. We won all the marathon. We had 2 marathons, summer marathon and winter marathon. We won all the marathon, the year marathon. There was the second one or the third one, because we were 2 ex aequo in the first, where, like 5,000 book points or 6,000 book points behind. So we were doing really incredible results. Guru Krishna was also called the king of the hospitals, because in the hospitals he was just, incredible. So one time we went in a small city, not very big, and there was a small clinic. So he went to the clinic, and I was going door to door, shops, the regular Sankirtan that I used to do. And we figured out that this clinic was finished about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So said, okay, we will meet around 2:30 at the car. So we did. So for me, it was a normal day, very good day, but normal. And when I saw Guru Krishna, he had a very strange face, very strange. I couldn't understand if he was happy or distressed. And he said, okay, let's go to the other spot, and I will tell you what happened. So he went in and tried to start distributing books, but everybody said, no, you have to go to the director of the hospital. So he went to the director, and his name is Dr. Luigi, and the director was very nice, very polite, and very kind, and he said, okay, you have the permission, and I want also some of these books, and how much should I give you? And Guru Krishna said, 1,000 euros. And he said, okay. And he wrote a check. And when he wrote a check, Guru Krishna inside of his head said, I'm so stupid. This person is so nice, I only asked for 1,000 euros. He could give much, much more. But it was not polite to interact, after this. And so he thanked him and then started to distribute. And at one point, in one word, Dr. Luigi came in visit. He was a doctor also. Said, oh, Luigi, nothing happens by chance. So you have also to have these books, other books that he didn't give before. And Dr. Luigi smiled and said, okay, how much should I give you? And he said, 1,000 euro. And he said, okay. And Guru Krishna said, oh my God, and he was writing another check. He said, oh my God, I'm so stupid, How can I be so stupid? He's such a nice person, I ask only for 1,000 euros. But anyway, it was not also polite because other people were there. So he just took it and thanked and then continue. And he finished all the books. He just had one book left, one small book left. It was a Maha big, but one book left. And when he went out, one young lady was coming in. So he gave the book to this young lady and said, of course, he was using, Dr. Luigi, the director, took the book, so everybody, in the clinic were taking the books. Of course, this is logic. And so he did the same with this young lady. And this young lady took the book and said, oh, yes, Dr. Luigi is such a nice person. He's such a sweet person. Unfortunately, he will leave us. And Guru Krishna said, he will leave us? What do you mean? Today is his last day. He's going on pension tomorrow. He said, really? And where is Dr. Luigi right now? And she looked at what, and she said, I'm his secretary since many years. That's why I know him very well. And he just finished his shift, and he's downstairs in the basement, and he's changing his clothes. So where is the basement? And they said, but you cannot go there. And Guru Krishna was already gone because there, you need a pass, this magnetic pass. But Guru Krishna, in a way or another, he managed to go down. And Dr. Luigi was in his underwear pulling up his trousers. And he came from behind. Guru Krishna came from behind and said, Luigi, you a rascal. You didn't tell me that this is your last day of work. You have to do the song of the swan. You know what this means? The song of the swan? The swans, they sing when they are going to die. So, the last thing after you. Anyway, it was appropriate. No, he called him rascal. And so Luigi pulled up his pants and he turned around. I said, so the books you have in your hands are for me, right? And Guru Krishna, with a big smile, said, yes. So how much should I give you? And Guru Krishna said, guess. 1,000 euro. Yes, 1,000 euro. So, but I finished my checks. I will give you in cash. But I will not give you my address. And then Dr. Luigi embraced Guru Krishna and told him, "Thank you so much for what you are doing." He was very moved from the sincerity of this devotee. So after this, we had, the Lakshmi point was like this, and the book were here, BBT. So we had a lot of Lakshmi extra. So Guru Krishna said, "Okay, now we are going door to door, and we have to empty the car." That was his desire. We had a huge van full of books. And believe it or not, all the books went out. We emptied the van that night. And the mantra was this in the door-to-door. No, I'm not interested, but this is a special day. And the door slowed down, the book went in, and the money went out, and boom, and closed. Every mantra was like this. It was amazing, amazing. The people were not interested, but they took the books anyway and gave the money. Anyway, so this is the most amazing story that I know in Sankirtan. There are many, many others, but if you have any questions, I don't want to... Hmm? Oh, yes, I will. Anyway, now I will tell you this. This is also in the book I wrote. This is for you. Hmm? That was in 1998, maybe. 1998. 1990, yeah.
So did you ever meet Dr. Luigi after?
No. He didn't give his address. He was on pension, and that's it. And, okay, this is just to enhance, to underline, to emphasize that Srila Prabhupada books, paraphrasing what Srila Prabhupada said in different occasions. These books can really preach by themselves. They can, if also ISKCON or devotees are not there anymore, if the books that are out there, they can restart the movement. Paraphrasing, is not exactly what he said, but in different occasions he said things that had this conclusion. So one time, the devotee in Italy in the mid-80s, maybe it was 84, 85, one devotee was distributing in a remote village in the mountains, very, very remote and small village. And they were distributing the great classic of India that were like Srimad-Bhagavatam, and they were distributing mainly third and fourth canto in one volume. Third canto, one volume, fourth canto, one volume. And they are very thick and very nice bound. And anyway, have you ever, someone have ever seen the great classic of India? Amazing book, very nice looking. Anyway, so they were distributing there in this, and then after 2 or 3 years or 4 years, another devotee went in the same town, and in Italy we used to go dressed as a devotee, in attire, in devotees' devotional attire. So when he went in this village, everybody started to say, a friend of baby is coming. Oh, how are you? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And so he said, he thought it was, the people were very pious, but each one of the people that he met, he was saying the same thing. You are a friend of baby, huh? You came to visit him. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. And so the devotee became very curious. He said, but who is this baby anyway? I don't know him. You don't know him? Why, he's one of yours, Baby is one of yours. And you have to go that way, and the last house of the village is his house. So this devotee went, and when he went there was a lady that was taking care of a small garden, unkept garden, and when the lady saw him, she looked at the devotee and said, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, you are crazy like my husband, go to hell. So, quite a welcome, Welcome to my house. And from the house, a very elderly person came out, and when he saw the devotee, he said, come. like that, go around. And so the devotee went on the backside, and he went in, and this elderly devotee, he was trembling and said, "Oh, what an honor, what a honor." And he paid obeisances. He didn't know the mantra Vanchakalpa, but he paid obeisances. And he said, "Please sit down." And he was extremely poor. He had no furniture. He was really, really old, maybe in his 90s. And he said, "Please sit down. I have only water. Would you like some water?" But Srila Prabhupada came here 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, I don't remember. Anyway, 4 years ago, Srila Prabhupada came here. And the devotee said, "Srila Prabhupada," he was puzzled. He said, "What do you mean?" "Oh, wait. And then he disappeared in another room and came back with a cloth. And inside the cloth, there was a 4th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. And it was consumed by reading. It looked like 200 years old, this book. And he said, I have the 4th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam, and I read every day as much as I can. And don't you have maybe the 1st canto? Oh, the Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada many times said Bhagavad Gita. You have Bhagavad Gita? So he said, yes. Just, yes, I will give you. I said, actually, I don't have money, I got this book because I gave 2 liters of milk to the other devotee. But now I don't have milk. I have only cheese. Would you accept cheese for other books? I said, and the devotee, of course, said yes. And then talking with this person, he started to say, all the people here in the village, they think I am crazy, I am stupid. But they are crazy, they are stupid, they are chewing the chewed. Every day they are chewing what they chewed the day before, And my wife, Bertha, she is she is in Maya. She wants to stay in Maya. I'm preaching to her every day, but she's anyway. She hopeless case. Well, thank you. I want to say that. And actually, I'm talking in 3rd person. He became vegetarian. He started to offer the food. And every single day, he put on a bed sheet as a dhoti, because he saw the pictures, Srila Prabhupada. And then he went down in the village doing Harinam, chanting Hare Krishna and clapping his hands for 1 hour every day. That's why all the people, they thought that he was crazy. So the devotee, when he saw such a devotion and such a change in this person, he said, "Okay, Bepi, don't worry. We will come again next year, and we'll bring you all the books of Srila Prabhupada, so you will have the whole collection." But the next year, when they came, Bepi already went to the spiritual world or wherever Krishna wanted him to go. So this is the potency of Srila Prabhupada books. They can really change the heart of the people without any other. Srila Prabhupada is preaching pretty good. Don't you think so?
Haribo.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. Book distribution ki jai. Any questions? Don't be shy. Also from the ladies' side, if you have any question. I know you are distributing on the street, but nevertheless, sometimes there are challenges that are everywhere, on the street and in other places.
Hare Krishna. I was advised to ask, because you were speaking about going door to door, and Sankirtan Prabhu, he has lots of experience of going door to door. If you would maybe like to say a few words about door to door distribution.
Yeah, I think I'm at this time. I'm not doing door to door very often right now, but I like to do it very much. But I can't get the colleague.
You can't get the what?
The partner to go with me, because all other devotees are scared to go door to door usually, or they don't like it, or it's unpredictable what will happen, as Anakadundu Prabhu just said. So I like it very much. I do it every year, here and there, time to time. And what is my experience, that the most miraculous things usually happened, or most adventurous things happened in door to door for me. Mostly I do street now, or marathon I also do street. I have a desire to do one Prabhupada marathon just door to door. That's still in my mind, but I'm still a little fearful that I will not do that well. That I will not win. So I didn't do it yet. So and so my usual meditation when I do door to door is because you never know who will open, what will happen. Just depend on Krishna, and also you have a time in between. Especially if you do villages, if you do apartment buildings, that's kind of one person after another. If they are at home, this is actually the biggest suffering in door to door, when people are not at home. Some other devotees, they pray, please Krishna, I hope that there is no one inside. Really, it's they ring the bell and it's like the trembling, and then they ring the bell and then nobody comes and good. Sometimes they have such fear, and some other devotees, they feel that I will look like a Jehovah Witness. The people will think I'm a Jehovah Witness because they go to door, or they used to go door to door quite a lot. So many people think when you go door to door that you are a Jehovah Witness, and therefore in my mantra in the very beginning is, hello, I am not a Jehovah Witness. Even I'm dressed like this. It doesn't matter, You are in front of their doors, that means Jehovah Witness. So this is part of the mantra. Hello, I'm a monk, I'm not a Jehovah Witness, don't worry. And then you see just in the people's eyes and like that. Because they have from some reason they have a not good reputation, at least in our country. I don't know how it is in Germany, but they are not very much liked. Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. So, So, and I found it very much interesting for me that I cannot choose people to stop. Whoever is there is sent. I was thinking always, Krishna will send a person. I cannot control anything. I just depend on Krishna, if somebody will be there or not be there, or who will open, and like that. And I found it very much helping in my Krishna consciousness to be dependent on the Lord, and to just meditate and pray for mercy in between the houses. Just pray and chant mantra, or philosophically think what is going on and happening. And every door is kind of how to say, překvapení? Surprise, every surprise. And sometimes it happens that you come from one side of the house. It happened to me, and the father was like chasing me out, and I was finishing the day, and another day, without realizing it, I was continuing the same village, and I was ringing from the other side. I was thinking it's another house, but someone else opened. It was the daughter, and she took Bhagavad Gita. And when she went home, after paying money, I saw that father, and oh, again you what is that? So it's, and of course, we have also a lot of adventures with police when we do door to door. I don't know how it is in your places, but usually when you enter the apartment building, especially, people feel insecure, because on all of their meetings of the residents of that apartment building, they stress, you lock the door, don't open to anyone, you should know who is coming in, and then you stand behind their door. So they are surprised. How is it possible? We just spoke about that in the meeting, and nobody's supposed to be inside. Who allowed you inside? And Yeah, and tell them whatever you arrange, I will always get in because even if I would ring your bell, you would probably open because they just don't realize at that time that's what's going on. So that's and there are so many. I mean, another thing about door to door is that you meet people which you will most probably never meet in the street sometimes. Old people or people who don't go into the center of the city, because usually when we do street, we are in the center of the city in the downtown. So we meet some sort of people, but many people are living side and go just to shop a little bit, maybe to some side market, and then go home, and they do not know anything about Krishna, so they are very surprised, and they maybe first time see a monk and first time see Hare Krishna. Of course, in the street we also meet people like this. But in villages, we sometimes get to people which we know for sure we wouldn't reach them anywhere else. And so there are, of course, also many stories regarding this. For example, there is just a recent one with police. I like to deal with police. It's my hobby. I am the son of a policeman. And some or other, I like it. So when devotees have problems and they got some, they are invited for some, not to court, but the smaller, they are supposed to be fined, to get fined, but you can still appeal. So I sometimes go instead of them, to deal with them and explain everything, and then we always win. Yeah, I can, but I was thinking some Manida Prabhu will come or somebody. Anyway, I'm tall enough, so. Then, what I wanted to say, I was doing one block of apartment building, and one person was really angry. And he said, you will go out from this specific entrance, when there are, I don't know, maybe 16 flats, 8 floors, like that. And I usually don't listen to them. I just continue my mission, trying to be polite if it is possible. Sometimes it's difficult. And but he was following me and telling to all people, so that was just waste of time. So I ended up in 5th floor, went down, he went also, and he was calling police. I said, I don't have a time, I don't have a problem to deal with police, but today I don't have a time, I want to distribute some books. So some or other, he called the police. It took some time when I was still in that corridor there. Then I went out, he went with me, and he was following me. Then I sat into my car. He, made a photo of the car and everything. And I went to another part of the town, to another apartment building. So I did nice, some books went out. And then a little later, because I had a feeling, those people in that place, they didn't get a chance to get books. So I again squeezed in, went to that floor when I ended. I finished the house, I distributed a few books there, and then we left. And I was feeling, and actually on the way with the car, I met the police car coming to that place. But they didn't get me because, I was. So these are a few just words.
So I was listening to a class of Keshava Maharaj, and he was saying one day he was on the street in England somewhere, and he met a man, and the man told me that he was chanting 16 rounds, and just because of reading Srila Prabhupada's books. So these books, Prabhupada said, they are like time bombs. One day they will explode and make someone a devotee. Sometimes people a woman or a man in the 1970s bought a book, put it in the bookshelf, and their child or their grandchild picked the book up and become a devotee. And so it's like that. I myself, I just wanted to say, when I meet someone now, if I would go out on the street, which is very rare, for those who don't have a way how to stop a person, because some of you know what to say, how to stop them, I found that to stop someone is difficult, but if you put interest in them, then they become interested. So I asked them, can I ask you a question? And then I say, can you let me know what is your first memory in this lifetime? So everyone likes to speak, then they think, oh, it's about me. Then they think, sometimes they can't remember. Sometimes remembers even when they're half-year old, which I only can remember when I was 3 years old. But so like that. And then I show them in the Bhagavad Gita from the baby till the older person, the cycle of birth and death. And then you can preach a little. But first, you have the interest, and you tell them, remember when you were, what is your first memory? And when they say 4. And I said, so when you were 4 years old, you were interested in trains or in your dolly or in football or whatever. And by the time you get older and older, your interest changes in life, like that. And according to which age they have, like if they are grandparents, I say now you're into your grandchildren, and then when you were young, you were into finding a girlfriend, a boyfriend, like that. So your interest changes according to your age. And so this book is about, it's about who you really are, and inside. So you remember when you were 4 years old, but you're the same person, but your body is completely changed. And so in this way, I make them interested. But even sometimes after that, they don't take, but many do. Just wanted to say, and Prabhuji, you told me yesterday the story about about the book on the road. Maybe you can share that again.
Actually, I'm not an expert on the street, but my wife, she's really expert. So I will tell a story about her. She was distributing in Serbia. She became devotee in Serbia. She was originally from Bosnia, but she joined the temple in Belgrade, and she immediately started to distribute, and she did very nice result. And she was very much in competition, and so the marathon time came. And in this time, in distributing in this country was very difficult, very, very difficult. So much so that His Grace Rohini Sutta Prabhu said that each book that was distributed in Serbia was equal to 20 books in any other place in the world. It was so difficult. And on top of that, they had only one book translated. The life comes from lives. Life comes from life. And then they had magazines and Chaitanya Charitamrita, which was practically impossible to distribute on the street. On top of that, there was a financial crisis in these times, just before the war. That was in beginning of the 90s, maybe 1991, something like that. So there was financial crisis. So the marathon came, and all the devotees from the temple, they went in traveling Sankirtan here, there, in different places. And Mukhya Nivasini, that was her former name, now her name is Chaitanya Lila Dasi. She got reinitiation because her spiritual master had some difficulties. And she went in the book locker, and there were no books. All the devotees that went in traveling in Sankirtan, they clean up all the books. She didn't have not even one book. She had only magazines, but the book points for the magazine is 1/5 or 1/4 of the book, and then there was Chaitanya Charitamrita said it was impossible to distribute on the street in this period. So she was very much depressed for this, just thinking of how the devotees were so not nice. And all the devotees in the temple, cheering her. Haribol, don't worry, you just go out. But she was really depressed. So the first day, she went out. She took 20 magazines. And because she was very depressed, she was able to distribute only 10 magazines. And so the second day, the devotees were encouraging her. No, you bring more magazines. Don't worry, everything will go all right. But she was not. But anyway, she took few magazines more, and then she went out. And by the mercy of Krishna and the blessing of the devotee, after about 1 hour, when she went out, it was very difficult to go out. She had to take one bus and then another bus. She was going to the railway station. And then she thought, okay, now I'm not losing so much time. I will just go to the flashlight nearby and I will distribute there, where the flashlight, the car stopped, and then she was doing distribution. And after 1 hour, she called the temple, and usually she used to call the temple just to get inspiration, How is dressed Gornitai? Because she went out very early in the morning, so before darshan. How is dressed Gornitai? What is what flower they offer to the deities, etc. So the devotee in the temple picked up the telephone. They say, Mukhya, you're there. Oh, the deities are. No, from the other hand. No, I finished the magazine. You have to bring more magazines. So the devotee went very quickly, and they brought 200 magazines to her. And at the end of the day, she distributed 200 magazines. She had 200 yes in one day. Very difficult. All the Sankirtan devotee, if they have 50 yes or 70 yes, is very good, But maybe they distribute maybe 2 or 3 books to each person. And and from that day on, she distributed 200 magazines every day. 200. And the end of the first week, she was number 1 in the temple. And all the other devotees in traveling and sang, they said, what happened, And so finally the books came from the BBT, the Life Comes from Life. And but she was a little worried, because she was attached to this 200. So she said, now we have the books, but maybe, the books are not going out. I don't know. But she took, nevertheless, the books. So she went out, and every day she reached 150, much more than with the, in book points, much more than with the magazines, but a huge number. And that was the super extra record of this country, because the maximum books went out in one day in marathon. There were, I think, 30 or 40 books. And she was distributing 150, 160, 130, like that, every day. And she was number 1. And
What she do with that, with the traffic lights also, or no?
Actually, she was in the traffic light nearby. That was very handy, because she didn't have to take any bus or whatever. But at one point, because there was a very tense situation in the country. At one point, from the other side of the road, one car stopped, and one very mean guy came out of the car, and with a long knife, he showed the knife to her and he said, I will kill you if I see you there. And so she thought maybe it's better to change place. So she went in another place, because, the people from this part of the world, if they say something, maybe they will do it. Correct? Confirmed. And so she went in another part of the town, but nevertheless, all the the same amount of books went out. And then she came to Italy, and she didn't know Italian at first. Now she is Italian nationality, she has an Italian passport. And then she's very good with languages, and she learned Italian, and she was number 1 also in Italy. She distributed so many books and amazing stories. Every time she came back from, especially marathon, she said, today at least 55 people or 60 people kissed me. They were just, and she was, brushing her face, kiss me. Anyway, and one time...
Can I just, sorry to interrupt you, we're talking about these difficult times. I actually came 1991 to ISKCON, and I came to this 1991. This is the first time I came to the temple, and I came in the end of November. So the devotees were preparing for December marathon. I was a brand new, like 5 days, bhakta, and they sent me a book distribution door to door. And I said, I don't know, I never read the book. There was a perfect question, perfect answers. And they said, just whatever happened, don't let them close the door. I said, what do you mean? He said, when they open the door, put your foot. So this is how my first book distribution, they opened it, some grandmother. Yes, and I put the foot there. And she tried to close the door. It doesn't close the door. So just to illustrate the...
And then you added, I am from Serbia.
Interesting times.
Sorry, bad joke. Anyway, another time during a marathon in Italy, she was doing a very good distribution, and amazing things happened to her. One time, she went, because, she was in Genova, and Genova had very bad streets for the trolley. So she put the trolley, and she locked in some place, and then she went with some books, and then come back and take more books like that, because the trolley was very difficult to pull. And then she went back, and there was a sign on the trolley, I'm very interested in these books. This is my address. Please come to my house. So she looked at the map, and it was not very, very, very far away. So she went there, and this person took the whole Bhagavatam set that she didn't have. So she was describing the Srimad-Bhagavatam set, and the person paid in advance, and the next day she gave the Srimad-Bhagavatam set. Another time, she was distributing on the street, same town in Genova, and one person said, I'm very interested, but I don't have any money. I have to go to my ATM and get some money. And she said, don't worry, I trust you. You're a nice person, I can see it. So you just take the books, and you go, she locked the trolley just near the bank. And she said, my trolley is there, near the bank. You just take the money from the bank and put it in the trolley. Don't worry. Krishna is taking care. I said, okay. And then when she went back, actually the money was there. The man put the money inside. And another time, because, she was leaving the trolley in the same spot, when she came back to take the books, 2 policemen were there. And then she came there, and she told the police, so what happened? And she said, is this your trolley? Yes. And said, it's full of bombs, but they are not exploding right now. They will explode sometimes after. And they were looking at her, they are books stuck. And she opened, and I went like this, And then she took out the books and said, these are also for you. You are doing a very nice job. And they also took the books, the policeman. So this is a story about a lady that distributing books. I hope your old lady are very happy about that, because also the lady are doing a great job, we have many Maharatini in our history of book distribution. I think there was a lady maybe it was in Germany in the old days, let's say, and she wasn't able to distribute books for a week, and she was really depressed. And at the end of the week, she was just going on the street, crying, holding a Bhagavad Gita in her hand, crying. And at one point, she felt someone from the other hand pulling the Bhagavad Gita, and so she in her tears, a young man appeared and said, I want this book. And this man happened to be later on a devotee. He became a devotee and became a Sankirtan leader, and he distributed so many books. So you never know, Sometimes, things are very rough, but you distribute one book and you you make a wonderful devotee. So don't be discouraged. About door to door, I have to say that the most incredible adventure are in door to door. You know that we have to protect the people that are taking the books from other people that maybe will spoil the situation. One time I was in a village and I went in a courtyard where two families lived, and one family was already out, so I gave a book to a lady. She took the book, and I said, any other families living here? I said, yes, there is that family over there. And she went with me with the book in her hand. So I rang, and one lady came out, very shy lady, said, who are you? I'm a missionary. I just, your neighbor, Miss Anna, whatever it is, her name was. She just took a book. I want to give you also for you. And she took the book, but she was very, very shy, like she was a little afraid of something. And from the inside of the house, another lady said, don't take that book. They are a very dangerous sect. They worship the demons. They worship the devil. Don't take the book. I said, who is this person? I asked the lady. She's my sister. I said, what? Please, sister of what's your name? Come out and tell me, what is happening. So she came out and she was very angry. Said, yes, you are the Hare Krishna and you are a dangerous sect and this and that. She was blaspheming everything. And when she finished, I said, but where did you get all these informations? I said, I don't know, but my son told me. And she was very, proud of that. And then I let her finish and I said, your son is a demon. And the lady that was holding the books was going, yeah. And all of a sudden, she froze and she went inside the house. And the lady that was shy said, how much should I give you? Your neighbor gave, 10 euros. You can give also 10 euros. So, okay, I'm coming up. And then she went inside, gave me 10 euros, and then went back inside. So you see, sometimes you have to, I don't know, usually I'm very polite. I don't say words like this. But that was, to protect this lady that already took the book. Because sometimes the people, they get influenced from others, So maybe, this... okay, no, you are dangerous. So I don't want this book anymore. This happened many times. So it's better to protect the people. One time I was distributing door to door in these big buildings, and one lady politely refused. She said, no, I'm not interested. I said, oh, don't worry, no problem. Why don't you come to the Sunday feast? We have great cooks. And we have great singers, we make you dance like anything. Please come and with us, you will have a great time. Bring your friends. So, and she closed the door, and I rang in the front, in the apartment on the other side, and I heard in the same apartment, who was he? Anyway, a male voice. Say, he was a Hare Krishna. He wanted to sell a book to me, but I refused. But these Hare Krishna are such nice people. They are so polite, so nice. They always smile. I really like them. And she said Hare Krishna 3-4 times, So she didn't take the book, but she appreciated what I was doing. So she was making some sort of advancement because she was appreciating what the devotees were doing. So, and maybe, because, it was a nice interaction, maybe the next time she will meet a devotee, maybe she will take the book. You never know. Haribol. Any questions? Otherwise, I can continue with the stories if you don't mind. Would you like to hear some story? No, there is a question.
Yeah, just could you maybe tell about exhibitions?
Exhibitions. Okay, exhibition better if you, of course, there are different. If you have a stand there, the devotee have a stand there is very easy. You just go around, like we have the Festival of the East now, that is an exposition that goes in all the major towns of Italy, and we have the permission to have a stand there. So to do Sankirtan there is like a hot knife cutting the butter. It's very easy. Otherwise, you have to get the permission or to get the ticket, and sometimes it's not allowed that you are going to distribute inside. So you have to see case by case. And expositions are very good, especially for the ladies, because, of course, they are more welcome in such places. And is a chance to, especially in some expositions, you have a chance to do many mantras in one time, because there are customers, there are people that are showing their goods, so it is very good opportunity to distribute Srila Prabhupada, a lot of Srila Prabhupada books. Oh, another story about my wife. Ah, sorry. What? Okay, door to door. Just some technical tips. No, sorry.
Okay,
he was going to say, it was not a question.
You see, I also did a lot of door-to-door distribution. Of course, the street was the main distribution. And my experience was when I met someone who was really interested and who took the books. So I usually ask him, because this neighborhood, so the people, they know each other, they are related somehow, they are friends to some extent. So I always asked, do you have friends or the people you know who are also interested in the similar books or the philosophy or the kind of thinking? And like that, we were able to distribute a lot of books without going. Of course, we went from door to door, but still we focus on those they recommended to us. And also the second person, he again recommended us to someone else, and like this, it was like a chain reaction. So in this way, sometime, not always, but sometime, we could distribute a lot of books by recommendation.
Good, very nice, yeah. Any other questions or comments?
Actually, I have a question for you. The question, we always speak about book distribution, but we don't speak too much about preparation for book distribution. Like, how do you prepare yourself, for example, your own daily preparation for the next day books? Or
Okay, so yeah, we have to be very focused. We have to, of course, to have the right motivation to go out. If you have the wrong motivation, is not working very well. If you have the right motivation, what is the right motivation? Anyone? What is the best motivation to go out before you go out?
chanting very attentively.
Chanting and please Srila Prabhupada, read the books, help the people, love the people that we are meeting. They are our brothers and sisters. So, they are all related to Krishna. They just don't know. It's our job to reconnect them to Krishna. So, and, the best way is to give to them a Srila Prabhupada book, one of Srila Prabhupada books, because then Srila Prabhupada is preaching to them. Understand? Srila Prabhupada used to say, this is a famous statement, what are your 3 minutes preaching, But if you give them a book, then they have something substantial. Their life can be changed, So, yeah, we have to chant our rounds really attentively. We have to really love in our heart the people that we will meet. Nevertheless, they are mistreating us. Sometimes they are hitting us. They are calling the police or whatever. We have to love them. They don't know, They are like child. They don't want to go to school, but the parents, they know that if they go to school, it's good for them. So same thing, They are like child. So we have to be very patient with them and tolerant and but very firm. We have to give them, in a way or another, Srila Prabhupada do. So we have to become an instrument in some way or other. So personally, I was, went on the spot where I was going to distribute and see all the spot where, for the rainy days, and all the spot for the, and all the spot for the door-to-door, all the spot for the offices, the more concentrated, like that, make a plan. But of course, you have, Krishna is in control. Sometimes your plan is not matching with Krishna's plan, so you have to improvise sometimes. But nevertheless, because you know that Krishna is in control, you understand that, if Krishna is doing like this is the right thing to do. So you have to just be dependent on Krishna. And of course, read Srila Prabhupada books is the must. We must know what we are distributing. Otherwise, it happened like it happened to Bhakta Antonio. That was Anakadundabi before the initiation. One time I was doing my old job as dental technician, and I was distributing sometimes in the weekend or in my holidays. And one time I went to a door-to-door, and one professor came out, lady professor, and she looked at me, "Oh, Hare Krishna, very interesting. I am a philosophy professor. What is this book about?" And I didn't read the book that I was giving to her. I said, "Oh, well, I didn't read it yet, but I'm going to read it very soon." And she said, "Shame on you. You are distributing something you don't know what it is. But I'm very interested, so out of mercy for you, I will take the book anyway." So that was, a great lesson for me. I have to know what I'm distributing. Otherwise, something like this happened.
Papa also that, you should read the books.
Yeah, I should read the books, yes.
I just reminded me
Why don't you come sit?
That's one short sentence. This marathon, I connected to this to know what is there. A lady asked me, "How do I know that you are a real monk?" I said, "Do you have any card or something?" I said, even if I make a card, I can make so many cards like that. It is not a proof. So how can I tell you? I'm dressed like this. You see, anyone can dress like this. I want to prove that you are a monk. So I said, "So what can I do?" "Okay, take this Bhagavad Gita, find some shloka, and test me if I know it." And she opened. Where shall I read? No, here under the Sanskrit, under the Devanagari, start to read. And she started Mayadhya, and she couldn't read. I say, "Okay, it's Mayadhya kshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate." It's right. Okay, I will find another one. Okay, she turned and Brahma bhuvana loka punaravartino arjuna, and she, fortunately, I don't know all the verses, but she chose 2 verses which I knew, and she got convinced, and she bought Bhagavad Gita. So,
But when things like this happen, that it's a Paramatma who guides her to pick the right verses. It's often the Paramatma, like that. I wanted to say, like, if I would go out now, I would pray to Krishna before I go out. We're talking about how to prepare. I said, "Krishna, I'm very attached to doing, to do nicely. Can I have at least meet one person that is interested?" And then when someone says no, then I just, this one, okay, this one. I'm just looking for the person, young, old, ugly, rich, poor, and just like it becomes a game or something like that. Then you're not so detached, you're more detached from the ones who don't take, but someone will take. Just one idea. So, are you going to come?
No, Mataji, sorry.
No, but...
No, she had a question.
Yeah, okay.
I was just wondering that if you could say something about how you approach the business people.
Business people.
Yeah, something I always struggle. I mean, I did have sometimes that I, get them to do and they're happy to do it. But then other times it's like something that I personally struggle with.
Okay. Could I just answer?
I didn't hear it. Yeah, I was, Hare Krishna, yeah. I was just thinking, there's also guests coming who would like to have darshan of the deities, that we could have a path going here for, especially if the Indian guests, if they just came to have darshan, that they can have darshan. Anyway, sorry.
So there are actually different places where you can find the boss. There are small industries, big industries. There are offices, like lawyer offices, and usually you have to go through the secretary. And my approach is that okay, I have something for the boss. I am something for the manager, and sometimes the secretary is not allowing. No, the boss is not present, is not available, he's busy, he's in a meeting, something like that. And we have to adjust according to the situation. Maybe we can take an appointment sometimes, because people, they have a busy schedule. We can take an appointment. And sometimes we have to just insist a little bit. Sometimes we just have to forget about it and do the mantra to the secretary. A good tip is if you know the name of the boss. Sometimes in the small industries is written like very big, and but you don't say the last name. You say the first name, Mr. Luigi or whatever. And so it is more familiar, and maybe the people are, the secretary are puzzled, and then they introduce to the boss. In my experience, the small industries, usually the boss is always present, and you can see by body language who he is, and you can just approach him directly. Sometimes you just have to go through the bureaucracy and hope for the best. Just be firm and polite, and be ready to change your mantra to the secretary, or just go out and try to another one. They are not steady. Yes?
I usually go on the streets. I actually don't go in the streets.
Acha.
So it's usually when you're on the street and you see so many business people, and they have a different mentality, like they're very goal-oriented and very firm. And I just find it like you can't really juggle with them so much, because they're like, what do you want? Just tell me, I don't have time. They're very straightforward. And then the moment I just start saying that this is about, meditation, it's one of the most ancient books from India, and they're like, no, I'm not interested, I'm just faster. But the other times I met this gentleman, and he was, I was just joking with him. I approached him with just a joke, and I was just joking with him. And he said, I usually don't take the books, and I would never stop for anyone on the street. But just because you're being so nice to me, I'm going to take the book. And I didn't ask even for donation, and he just gave it by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just take it from my side. And he's like, don't say no, just take the donation.
Mm-hmm.
He took Bhagavad Gita. So I did meet people like that, but at the same time, some other people that, businessmen like this past.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone have some experience about that? I don't have.
I was in my younger days. I was distributing books in New York, in front of the Twin Towers, and also the what's the name of the market? Wall Street. This was my favorite place, Wall Street. And because these are the New York businessmen, the worst, horrible, no-nonsense people, and they usually many times did like this. You have 30 seconds to tell me what is this about. And I was like, oh my God, this book is about gone, So I figured out, so I immediately, of course, I'm a little bit aggressive person. So I told them, you think you're in control of your life. And they were like stopping, So then I explained, there's a little higher control. Sometimes you're not always in control. He said, yes, sometimes I'm not in control. So this was my mostly how and I did quite well, but no longer than 15, 20 seconds conversation, that's it.
Or maybe you can talk about money. You want to earn more money?
Yeah.
This is the secret is in this book. I don't know.
But mainly just I talked about them, I didn't speak about the book, because they don't care about the book.
Yeah.
So I told about you, you think, and they were like, I was a little bit aggressive on them, but they like this. They're the tough guys. They're the business people, especially the New York. I don't know, where do you live?
I mean, for now I'm in Zurich, but I'm actually based in Ljubljana, Slovenia.
Okay, so people are a little more nicer there.
Yeah, Slovenia.
Yeah, Slovenians are nicer. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for all your nice stories. It just makes me think that, why are not more devotees here and doing the Sankirtan Yagya? And I just, we joined like 7 years ago in Zurich, which, there's so many books been distributed, but still I find that there's quite a pessimistic view on book distribution. Like a lot of these senior devotees that did very big, they're not here, and it's not so much encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering how to rekindle that spirit, or, it feels like devotees have been burned also, and that's why they're not so much favorable. And so for new devotees, it's not so inspiring, and then they will bring all kind of excuses. It's difficult to do, but you feel it's just because there's no encouragement from seniors also. That
Okay, the body gets old, and of course there are different reasons, but mainly, the body gets old and worn out, and you're not able to do Sankirtan anymore. Like who is talking now is not doing Sankirtan anymore, not because I was burned out or whatever reason, just because the body is not cooperating anymore. So it's not possible to go out. I tried just before the COVID, Hare Krishna. And I did, no matter if my knee is not working, the other knee is not working, I have backache, elbow ache, everything is not working, and no matter what, I will do the marathon this year. And my average, it was 1 hour, 1.5 hours every day, normally, for 3-4 days a week. But during the marathon, I will do 3 hours a day. And then I went out for 3 hours a day, and then every day I said, okay, maybe half an hour more, 1 hour more. And Krishna was reciprocating in terms of books. Many books went out for the time being that I was out. But at the end, my body was completely fried. I was, for 1 or 2 months, I wasn't barely able to walk. So I figured out that I have to switch to something. And in the course of time, I was not, because sometimes it's a little frustrating also, because you have 1 hour time to go out, and maybe you don't find anybody home, although you're going in the right time, or nobody takes book, or so is. Sometimes you think, oh, maybe I have to switch to another service, maybe deity worship. But when also deity worship is not working because, you are not fit for it bodily, then, you understand that maybe I can preach. One thing that I want to tell you is that there is a Sankirtan for the future. You want to know about it? Sankirtan, door to door, this and that. But there is Sankirtan for the future. You know what is that? Anyone knows?
Internet.
No. Better internet is not existing. It was much better before. But anyway, we can use also internet, of course. Is follow up. To take care of the people that already have the books. I did this program for almost 30 years, 28 years. And I went every year to the people that took the books, and they were somewhere or other more favorable than the general people that I met. And I went in their comfort zone. I didn't invite them to the temple. Only one person out of 200 came to the temple 4 or 5 times. Only one person. All the others, I had to go and visit them. But every time I went to visit them, they were very happy to see me, and they had so many questions, and I tried to relate. I was listening to their how are you doing, you know, what is happening to your daughter, to your sister, your mother, etc. And I was trying to relate everything they were experiencing in normal life to the books they already had in their house, telling story about Dhruva Maharaj, about Pundarika Vidyanidhi, whatever, you know, whatever it was fit for the situation. And I gave more books. I brought them prasadam, and I gave my time to them. Whatever they ask, you know, maybe they invite me for dinner or for lunch, or they invited other friends for a gathering, for a program in their house, or I was in the place where they work, and they introduced me to the other workers or the other directors, like that. So this is what you have to do. Every Sankirtan devotee must do that. If you don't do that, it's good, of course, that you are distributing books, but this one is, Krishna will be very pleased, and your life will become more complete, let's say, because you are, you know, it's like we are throwing seeds on a field, you know, but you know, the farmer, only a crazy farmer just throws the seeds and then forget about it, you know. Usually he tills the ground before, and then he throws the seeds, and then he put a scarecrow, so the seeds are not eaten by anyone, and then he waters the seeds, and then he puts some cow dung on it, like that, you know, he takes care. And in this way, the crops will grow very, very nicely. So in this way, you know, your Sankirtan will be more, of course, sometimes it's difficult, and we tend to, because it's a very demanding service. It takes a lot of time to planning, taking appointment to them. It's really demanding. I mean, this is the way I did it, and it was really, really, I mean, it took me like one month to prepare everything, and 2-3 months to do the real thing. So it was really demanding. I was going with my motorhome in about 600 kilometers range. I had 200 people at the beginning, but you know, they were too much. I couldn't visit them in 1 year. So at the end, they shrink to 100, and 100 was a good number, you know. So altogether, you know, what, like 3-4 months between preparation and doing the right thing. And this is very good, very, very nice. Of course, it is more easy to, when you're doing door-to-door shops, etc. On the street, because they are not in their comfort zone, it will be difficult for them to give you the card, invite you at home, because you know they don't know who you are. But if you approach them in the where they work or where they live, then you know the relationship starts on another level. So in this way, you know, it's much better going door to door or shop to shop or whatever.
Okay, I just maybe Tapas Prabhu would like
Yes.
to say something because
Yes.
he just came. We had so many topics so far, so I don't know if you prepared anything or just. Is microphone Vedasara microphone works? Tapas Prabhu.
No, yeah. No, I didn't prepare, but I just want to follow up a little bit on Kadunabi was saying that the Sankta mission, I mentioned it this morning also, that I had to learn the hard way that Sankirtan is not only book distribution or planting the seed. It's a complete mission. And the end goal is we want to strive to do the needful to bring, do our part to bring people to full Krishna consciousness. That means love of God. And so had to learn it the hard way. And I was then put into exactly like next stage, a service of cultivating the seed. And it's still the books are the basis for that cultivation. And Prabhupada said 72 that we need to boil the milk. It means that we have collected devotees, sown the seed. Now it has to boil the milk so it becomes like concentrated. Yeah. And from there comes the fact that a number of people take commitment and take initiation. And some become committed to mission also. And regarding visiting homes, like Prabhu was mentioning, I have noticed, because sometimes the congregation, they invite you to the home. And for us, it's okay, we are doing preaching, so that's our normal. So it may not be so special. But for them, it's really special. They are so, they can feel the effect of the Devotee Association, because they are living in the material energy, basically. We are living very protected. We don't feel a difference. We sometimes forget what it means to be out there. And they're so appreciated. And then they develop trust. And then you can sell more books. That's happened this month. I'm all half dead, but actually, and now, me and my wife, we distributed 6 sets of Bhagavatam. And how, to these kind of people, they have trust, and you bring them the set, and follow up on that also. We will make a Bhagavatam reading group, do it together. And so that was an eye-opener. So yeah, so this books are always the basis for seed, for inspiration, for cultivation. And that's always goes back to that. I mentioned this morning that the age of Kali is the age of Adharma. That means Sarvadharma, you know, the general procedure of gradual cultivation, elevation, does not work. It works maybe to improve material life a little bit, but how long are you going to maintain it? Where's the powerhouse? So, and the only saving grace, this is the Lord's decision. His avatar in Kali Yuga is the team of devotees. Pancha Tattva Makam Krishnam, Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam, Bhakta Avataram, Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. All devotees, whether they are Vishnu or Rani, Narmuni, it doesn't matter. They all appear and they're associates from Vrindavan. When that happens, people become devotees. Like Prabhupada humbly said, there was many Bhagavad Gitas, translations, but none made a devotee. It's Krishna's words, it doesn't make devotee. It's the sadhu sangha. And Prabhupada's purport, Bhaktivedanta purport, is the devotional ecstasies of Prabhupada. This is what makes the revolution. This is what makes the change. Yeah, I can remember, like I said, when you have an atmosphere of this, Mayavad, indifference, equality, everything the same, everything, which is completely neglecting the unique position of Krishna and devotional service. You're already gone far away. So I was lost in that deep hole of ignorance, of nihilism and meaninglessness. And so far away. Like this Mataji Gauri, Prabhupada disciple who spent her whole life in book distribution, and she left the body in Vrindavan 86. And there were some famous interviews with her, her realizations. And one of the things she said, I was distributing books to people who were far away from, they couldn't be more far away from Krishna. And then from there lift up to, so this atmosphere, indifferent, nothing is special. I started to read Prabhupada's books. I was alone, there was no movement in my country, but I had Bhagavad Gita. And in my state, I could actually sense that compassion of Prabhupada and Krishna speaking. And that converted me. And from that state, I could sense that. That means having been brought out of coma and up in some enlightenment. Just to be able to see that and appreciate that. So therefore, that's the power. Senapati Bhakta, the general. That's also important that Prabhupada is identified as a general. Not just an empowered devotee. Why general? What generals, they are fighting wars, isn't it? Yeah, so he had to fight a war against the demonic Mayavad. And he's doing it all over the place. All this stuff, communist, democracy, science, Darwinism, and so much more, it's all the same. And it's fighting this war to remove that spirit so that we can have access to the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So, yeah, so it is a... With my previous Diksha Guru, after a marathon, I received one book, and he wrote a personal message. That was like a reward for my... And he wrote, read them, distribute them, live by them. I think that's profound, yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna.
So I guess we have to keep something for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have also another gathering, first about Sankirtan. So maybe we can stop here. If there are any questions, maybe one more question. Okay, now many guests are coming, so I think it's polite also for us. Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much for coming and sharing your pastimes, all of you from the Sankirtan movement. And I have a question about the actual situation in the world and how people respond in general to this time now to the holy books. And in the time of Prabhupada, there was also a world crisis, and the movement took off, no, in the 60s, end of 60s. And I heard that people now also, maybe we have a revival of the Sankirtan movement. And my question is especially to the young devotees, Prabhus and Matatis, how the young people respond to the book distribution. Because of the technology, they're so used to use technology, and how they respond to get a book, and how open they are and interested. Because Prabhupada made this movement especially with young people, and he had the whole generation from the 60s available. And so now my question is especially to the young here, how they respond, your generation, to the book distribution.
One of the young distributor want to respond? Yes,
I didn't hear the question.
Then you, too easy. It's too easy if you heard my question. Just joking.
Wants to know how the young generation responds to the books, because
And how open they are and how interested they are. Because Prabhupada made the movement with the young people mainly in the 60s, and now maybe there is a similar situation because of the world crisis and all that. So my question was that. Because you are in the street and you meet all these people, and especially the young, your generation.
What do you mean with young? Which age?
From, let's say, teenager till maybe the 20s. Yeah.
So in my experience, like teenagers are still reading, like from especially girls, 11, 12, 13, 14, they are all reading. But when they come to puberty and young adults, then they go partying and they have a lot of this phone stuff, and then they mostly are so attracted to the books of the majority. But it's still the hippies somehow. I experience it, especially on festivals. Sure, also like we also go to rock festivals or something. So in my experience, places where the people are having some kind of party, a positive energy, where they seek something to enjoy. There's good places, and but we were a lot to psytrance festivals, and this is considered like the modern hippie generation, like Goa music, like psychedelic trance. This is and I reflected with many see it similar, that these are like the modern hippies, because they take this psychedelic drugs as well, like LSD and stuff, and it opens very much, and they are attracted to all kinds of spiritual stuff, and they react very openly. So there's a lot of very positive feedback, even though not so many came through this preaching effort. So until now, I don't know too many, just several ones. Yeah.
And they are into reading because of the technology. They are into reading the books.
They take a lot of books. If they read, I don't know too much. Yeah. At least they are very that's what I searched for, or I'm into that yoga meditation, or like this. Yeah.
Okay, Shikshashtika Prabhu, you would like to also say to this topic a little bit, because you are actively distributing books. But I think this should be now, after Shikshashtika Prabhu, a few minutes say something, and this is enough for today. And tomorrow we have another meeting, because it's already Prasadam is ready. So just a few more minutes, and that's it. Hare Krishna.
Okay, just very short. I mean, I have similar experiences like Vedasara Prabhu. What I think is that it's very difficult for people to commit in this age, and for young people even more. Like, they don't want to commit to something. They will do something of this, something of that, but it's very difficult to commit. And so also what I think has increased, and is different from the hippie generation, that people cannot focus for a long time. So, you know, they like YouTube shorts of 30 seconds, but that's it. So to read a whole book is hard work. And I think for many young people it's not so easy. And one other thing I want to say, everybody's doing yoga and meditation. That's a fact. Like, you know, whoever you ask on the street, do you do yoga, meditation, they will do something. And so that's, I think, it's a positive thing. And I think over time that will be to our benefit, because people will want to know more, what is it really, you know? And you know, that's what is attracting many people to, I meet, unfortunately, or however you want to see it, but I meet young people converting, for example, to Islam, and taking it very seriously because they're attracted by the strong kind of philosophy and straightforward presentation and clarity. And I think we have that also, but you know, it's not so much publicly declared as Srila Prabhupada did to the hippies, for example. And so I think that would be one thing that can also be more attractive if we have a more clear vision and, you know, put these things first. That's
just your comment.
Just what Tapas Prabhu also said, this mood of relativism is very strong.
Yeah, the same Prabhupada said in books of time bombs. You see, and they explode at the time when the person is ready. They might not read. They are this is we call San X generation. Things have to go tick-tock like this, no focus. But you know, if they take books or they because a lot of things would happen today. It's just a luxury life. When life comes to hit, it's just like the Greeks. When they were on the top, they could come up with all kinds of lifestyle and ideas. But it was just dependent on that opulence, and that disappeared. They became Stoics. Completely opposite, you know. So, you know, that's why it's valuable just with contacting devotee, being out there with people. And if they like devotee a little bit, so much good for them if they take the books. But that's why the seeds, they will fructify at the right time. And because there are many things people do and they think today, which they can't afford if life becomes different, you know. So it's very much a luxury phenomenon we have today. But that comes and goes. But whatever spiritual asset they get will stay. It's eternal. Haribol.
Thank you all very much for your attention and for the participants and for the speakers. And we'll continue tomorrow. Same time, 11 o'clock. Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Book Distribution ki jai, Nrsimhadev Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Yes, thank you very much for your attendance and participation in this Sankirtan Katha blog. And yeah, what else is awaiting us today? So what follows is Prasadam. So it would be nice if most of us leave the temple room, and it's an opportunity for the guests. If you haven't got a book of Srila Prabhupada yet, the book table is outside. You can approach Mariana Mataji outside and Heidi Mataji, and you can get a copy of Bhagavad Gita that we can, during that time, prepare the temple room for taking prasadam. We will take prasadam in the temple room, so please use this opportunity. You can go outside. If you haven't registered yet, you can also register. And after prasadam is served, there will be a kirtan block here in the temple room. We will glorify the Lord with beautiful devotional music, so you can be around. And at 6:30 is Gaura Arati, yeah? there will be a very nice arati where we worship Lord Gauranga, the Yuga avatar. And after this will be a Bhagavad Gita lecture by Manidhar Prabhu at 7 o'clock. So please be there. Thank you.